Today is Mental Wellness Monday. We've made it to December, right? So there's less daylight. There's those cold and winter days that are almost here that kind of drag you down.
Yeah, this is the time of year where many people are impacted by seasonal affective disorder. It's a type of depression that's related to changes in seasons. So joining us now to talk about seasonal affective disorder is Dr. Sue Varma. She is a board-certified psychiatrist and clinical assistant professor of psychiatry at NYU Langone. Dr. Varma, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Love joining you all.
Yeah. Can you explain what seasonal affective disorder actually is and what causes people to have it?
So seasonal affective disorder is a type of winter depression that we see more in northern regions. So you might have near the Arctic, about 10% of people have it. So in countries like Finland, and then near Florida or the closer that you get south to the equator, maybe about 1% of people have it. We know that it's a disruption in melatonin, which is something that regulates your sleep-wake cycle. It's a disruption in serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter that we need to keep happy, and that you don't see the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder the rest of the year.
Okay, so a lot of us may think we experience something that's called, I guess, the winter blues, right? That you feel every time a winter comes along, but may not necessarily have what you just described, which is seasonal affective disorder. How can you tell you have either?
Yes, so 15 to 20% of people will have seasonal blues, which is a much milder version. You see that a person says, I feel sluggish, I don't have energy, my motivation is low. But despite all these feelings, they're still functioning completely fine and their mood really hasn't dipped that low. In seasonal affective disorder, we don't realize, but this really is a legitimate medical disorder, just like a depression that a person might have in other times of the year, except it's only in the winter. But they have the full-on 5 out of the 9 symptoms that we require for depression. So you have difficulty with sleep, with energy, with concentration, with mood, with feelings of worthlessness, with feeling of guilt, appetite changes, weight changes, and sometimes even thoughts of suicide. So really we have to take this very seriously. And if year after year you say that I don't feel like myself and it's only in the wintertime and it debilitates me, it incapacitates me, that's a depression. That's not winter blues.
So for those people who need help, what kind of treatment options are there?
So if you're having this year after year and it's incapacitating, definitely seek professional help. But in addition to that, check with your doctor. Light therapy is really beneficial for a lot of people. So what you want to do in conjunction with your doctor is get 10,000 lux light. You want to keep this no more than 2 feet away from you. You don't want to look directly at the light, but getting exposure to this for 30 minutes for a lot of people can be very helpful. But you have to make sure you have no retinal problems, discuss any eye problems.
What's it, mimicking
you might
the
get
sun?
too activated. Exactly. So if you can't get a sunbox, then I would suggest before 10 a.m. to get exposure to morning sunlight, and even if it's sitting near a window. But if you can get outside, you're going to add in the exercise, which is huge, movement, limit alcohol, limit caffeine, and I would say develop some sort of a hobby. Keep your social connections going. It's so important because after the holidays, there's definitely like a quiet period. Dark chocolate is very helpful. Avoid the carbs because carb craving is a big part of this. Try to get satiety from protein and fat and fiber. So like I'm a big believer in like the dark chocolate, the nuts, hummus, nut butter, and protein, avocado, that kind of thing.
So folks can, I guess you're saying that if you're sleeping too much, that's a sign. But there's also people who are sleeping too little. That's also a sign.
Yes. Yes. So that's a sign of depression. And often, like if you say that you're sleeping too little, typically when I see people with depression, they have difficulty falling asleep, they have difficulty staying asleep, and they wake up in the middle of the night. If your depression happens to be of the winter type, it's quite the opposite. You fall asleep in 5 minutes. You're falling asleep throughout the day. You're taking naps, and you don't want to get out of bed. You might find that like you'll be fine at staying in bed until like noon, even if you go to bed at midnight. So these people are sleeping on average maybe 10 or 12 hours, whereas people with depression, and again, these are no hard and fast rules. There are plenty of people who have atypical depression, which is a different form of depression, and that might be in the summer, it might be in the spring, and they also have the sluggishness and sleeping too much. So I wouldn't go just by that one symptom. For me, the hallmark is if you say I'm fine the rest of the year, but year after year I become incapacitated only in the winter months.
See, the scary thing is for people that feel that sluggish feeling, they're going to turn to coffee, and you said avoid it or at least minimize it.
Limit it, yes, because
caffeine,
later on in the day, yes, exactly, because the caffeine is actually like setting us up for chasing that increase in boost in energy, and we're never going to be able to get it. So I would limit it.
Okay.
can't
as
win.
I'm on like coffee number 3. Dr. Varma, always appreciate you being here. You know, this is a real thing, but we're doing this mental health on Mondays now, so I'm sure we'll have you back, but good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
We're going to go have some dark chocolate and toss out the coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
And a trip. A warm
oh, yeah,
trip
go
with
on a
funny
trip.
things if you can manage. Yeah, if you can manage it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.